Hello, welcome. My name is Shauna McGrath. I'm an astrologer here in California, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit today. I was thinking about how symptoms in our lives, things that we constantly struggle with interpersonally, physically, and the cycles of interaction that we find difficult, especially in relationships, how these symptoms or problems can be a symbol of psyche and a symbol of unconscious inner conflicts. So I wanted to sort of unpack that a little bit. I was thinking about this last night when I was on a walk, because this is, oh, hang on, that's my phone. My alarm went off. One of the challenges of recording a live video. So I was on a walk yesterday and I was thinking about how this is an intervention in depth therapy and depth psychotherapy. This idea of using the problem or viewing the problem in symbolic terms in order to understand the deeper level of what is going on. And this relates to astrology because astrology can kind of act as like a shortcut method to understand what's going on. So I was also thinking about this because I had some clients this week where we were talking about this conflict, this wanting one thing and knowing that this is what I want, and I want my life to be this very particular way, but then I also feel compelled to do this other thing. That maybe is somewhat unhelpful or destructive or hinders me from doing the thing that I really want. And so I was thinking about how this, typically when we have a problem or something that's hindering us, there's like a judgment against it. Like I'm not doing enough, or I shouldn't be doing this thing. I need to improve my habits. But from a depth psychological perspective, depth like DEPTH, like, whoa, that's really deep. From a depth psychological perspective, we're looking at the problem or the thing that we're doing that we want to stop doing as not something that we necessarily need to stop or change, but something that informs us about our psychic structure, about psyche, and what it is that what our needs are, what it is that at a deeper layer is motivating us. And so usually that doesn't mean stopping the behavior. It actually means like creating an entirely new mindset where there is more information that's revealed, and then that problematic behavior becomes a non-issue at some point. So I hope that makes sense. And I think I wanted to mention too, so like in spiritual circles, this can also be looked at as looking at physical body ailments in a symbolic way. Like Louise Hayes, I think, has written some books on this. There's also a book by an author, Deb Shapiro, called Your Body Speaks Your Mind, where they look at the physical body in symbolic ways. So like what does, if you have, let's say like carpal tunnel with your arms, and it's becoming increasingly difficult to type or to use your hands in some way. What are the symbolic implication? So how does it affect your life? How does it hinder you or help you? And what is it about your unconscious motives that is coming through this. Like, is there a part of you that feels like you cannot do, or is there a part of you that feels like you don't have the power to take action or to create things? Is there a part of you that feels like your hands are tied and things like this? And so I think when we do this, it can be a not just like looking up things in a book, and that was why I wanted to make this video. Is I think that it's not just about like looking up, okay, what does this mean? What is the answer? This looking at symptoms in a symbolic way, looking at life in a symbolic way, is like, it's kind of like a way of being. And I think that it takes a lot of practice. It's certainly something that I endeavor to do, that I don't always do. But I think that when we look at life in this way, in this symbolic way, that it does a few things. It takes the pressure off, so that there's less judgment on ourselves and on other people. So it's like when we're not so focused on trying to fix ourselves, then it's like, oh, like, I'm okay. And even though my life is necessarily the way that that I want it to be, or there's things that I want to change or improve, that doesn't mean, like, there's no judgment call on that. You're exactly where you're at this point in time. And I find that there's this opening that can happen. We approach ourselves with this gentleness. That I think that gentleness and that non-judgment is really important. And I think that it's something that is lacking often in our day-to-day lives, and something that is so important to cultivate. The other thing that this does for us is looking at our life in a symbolic way, is that it helps us understand more of what's going on. It brings more insight, and it brings more of a sense of feeling connected to ourselves and to others. And I find that there's like a deep sense of grounding in that, a deep sense of security, because it facilitates this way of being that is less about control and doing, and more about experience and being. And I know that we often don't like that. We often don't like to give up control. And when there's more this experience of curiosity and knowing, it ironically feels more secure than trying to control. And so when we look at life in this symbolic way, that I don't know if it's necessarily like everything happens for a reason. That feels a bit cliche for me. That feels a bit too like a superficial way of looking at it. It's more that that things are interconnected in a way that we don't always understand. And when we pay attention, we can start to tune in to this web of connection. And then we can move with it. And so I think astrology is really helpful for us in this way, because astrology helps us see what is going on. Astrology is essentially a symbolic language that Psyche uses or can use. So astrology helps us sort of like translate or decode, if that makes sense. Astrology helps us answer the question, what is Psyche saying to me? And if you're watching right now on the live, I'm so happy that you're here. Feel free to leave me a comment. Let me know if this resonates with you and maybe where you're tuning in from. I'm always curious. So I want to talk more specifically about how we see this in the chart. So when I see, when I'm talking with someone about conflicts and we're talking about their astrology chart, this is usually going to involve what I would call hard aspects. So this may involve a square aspect, so planets that are in signs that are the same mode. It may involve an opposition or a conjunction, depending. I'm typically going to see something involving Saturn or Pluto, maybe Uranus. It could be planets that are simply in a challenging aspect, like again, a square, opposition, or conjunction. Or it may be planets that have value systems that are very different than each other. So let's say Venus and Saturn are an aspect. They have very different qualities, and depending on where they are in the chart and their planetary condition, they may or may not play well together, so to speak. So this could be a place where, depending on what you're experiencing, this may show up in your natal chart or in your transits. And I think the way I think of it is it's kind of like astrology can be like a diagnostic tool, so that we look at, okay, like what is happening and where's their tension in the astrology chart, and how do these connect? What are the correlations? And then through that, we can figure out, okay, what are the other options? What are the other possibilities for this? What are the other ways in which this could manifest that would feel good to you? And again, I think when we're talking about this, it's not like really about problem solving. Like, yes, there's a little bit of that there. And it's more about looking around and seeing what is happening to bring that sense of insight and that sense of a free and open space to experience what is happening in your life. What are the patterns that are happening? What are the layers? And also, what are the assumptions that are happening here? So, like, what is it that you're assuming about the way that life is? And again, our astrology has a lot to say about that. Let me know what you think about this. Does this resonate? Do you have questions? I always love hearing what you think. My name is Shauna McGrath. I'm an astrologer in California, and I do offer astrology readings. You can find out more about me and my services at shaunamcgrath.com. I'm wishing you a lovely day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.